Hello everyone, and in today's video I'm going to analyze round 13 of the FIDE Candidates Chess Tournament 2021. So in the first game we have Fabiano Caruana versus Wang Hao. So as you can see, both players have 1 hour and 30 minutes on the clock. Now let's get into the game. We have e4, c5, knight f3, e6, c3, knight f6, e5, knight d5, d4, c takes, d6, bishop c4, bishop e7, castles. And in the opening, we see black has 2 pawns here, which is blocking both of the bishop's way. So that is why white has the advantage. So a3, bishop e7, bishop takes, e takes, and knight c3. Bishop e6, bishop f4, and knight g6, putting pressure on the pawn. So e takes to get rid of the pressure, and now bishop takes. But bishop takes, queen takes, and rook e1, developing the rook. Rook ac8. This is really common. You want to put your rook on the open file. So queen d3, f6, h3, bishop, and so on, rook 8 to c1. White also wants to fight on this open file. Queen d7, knight h2, rook fe8. Now we see both of the rooks on the open files. But apparently, taking the rook and leaving the open file is the best move. So after rook takes e8, knight f1, g6, knight 3, queen d7, knight a4, queen d6, knight c3, h5. And this position is just a draw. So we see a bit of shuffling here. And we get some trades. And white does have this pawn, but black's pawn is further advanced, and black's pawn can make some serious trouble for white. And if white makes a mistake, then it's game over. Well, black is also better in this position. After rook e1, queen f4, queen d1, bishop c2. And the idea here is if you take, then rook takes c1 is mate. But in the game, queen a1 defends the rook. So rook e5, putting pressure on the pawn. Rook takes, queen takes, and a5. This position is lost because black has this pin, and now the knight can't move. Well, in this position, you might say that why didn't Wang Hao play queen to a3 to get out of the pin and protect the knight? Well, now a5, and now to knight b5, we see that black has more space, and black's bishop is dominating while white's knight is not very powerful. Plus, in the endgames, bishops have longer ranges than knights. When the game queen takes e5, rook takes e5, queen takes e5, a5, king g6, king h1, and bishop e4, e6, bishop c6, queen b2, and the queen kept the pawn. And now we see that black is winning here. And it was in this position that Fabiano Caruana won because Wang Hao resigned. So let's look at the other games. I'm also gonna share you this game. So this game is Alexander Grushik with the white pieces and Anish Gary on the black with the black pieces. We have d4 knight f6 c4 e6, the Indian game East Indian defense. I think knight 3 b6 d3 bishop b7 bishop d2 and bishop b4 check. So bishop d2 defense to check c5. That's very common in queen pawn openings. You push your c pawn before you develop your knight on c6. So bishop takes b4, c takes b4, castles, castles, knight b2, d6, and why the computer likes white here is because these pawns are taking space, and black has a weakness pawn on b4. Queen b3, a5, a3, knight e6, rook f1, queen b7, knight e1, bishop takes g2, and we get some trades, and Black says, I weakened your king, and now I'm gonna push my pawn forward. So knight c2, b takes a3, b takes a3, rook a b8, and e4. We see that white now has this massive center, which is taking a lot of space from black. So we have e5 striking back and gaining more space. Queen d3, knight c7, rook a b1, knight e6. And after some moves, we see that in this position, it's two knights versus two knights, but white has an advantage. Why is that? Well, because white has pressure on this pawn, and white's rook is more active than black's rooks. So after some shuffling, we see that white is clearly winning here. And also, by the way, Anish Giri has to win this game or else he can't plan the tiebreakers with Nepo. So we have more trade than now we see that it's +4, which means that white is winning because white could simply win this pawn and it's just game over because white has these two pawns that can charge forward. But instead, rook d4, now knight c6, and after some moves, we see this position where white is +3. And after some moves, white is just completely winning in this position. And Anish Giri resigned in this position. There is 2 more games to go, and let's check them out. So we begin with the ready opening. So knight f3, knight c6, c4, b6, g3, bishop b7, bishop g2, and d6. Black in this opening syncatos both of his bishops on b7 and g7 and plants the knight on c5. And now we have this closed position where white is better because of this d5 pawn that takes away space and this pawn. So b4, a takes, and knight a6, e4, f4, knight e2, f takes c5. And now we see black trying to fight back because of the space that white has. So black sacrifices a pawn in order to put the knight on a better square. And now for beginners, beginners might think that rook takes d6 is a free knight, but if rook takes d6 was played, then queen to c7 and the rook is trapped. But in the game, rook b to d1, queen c7, knight c3, rook f8, and Nepo retreats his rook. Sometimes in chess you have to take one step back to make two steps forward, so that's exactly what Nepo does. So now bishop a6, knight d1, rerouting the knight, and we have a massive trade here. And we have this position where white is taking a lot of space from black, and that is why it is +9. That's why it's +8, no, +0.8, I mean. But that is not enough to win the game. So Nepo just keeps on improving his position, but eventually there's a threefold repetition, and if you don't know what that is, it's when both players repeat the position 3 times, and after that happens, it's a draw. So after bishop d1, bishop e8, and bishop c2, bishop d7, bishop e1, bishop e8, bishop c2, and this is known as a threefold repetition, and this is draw. I have one final game to show you, and that is between Ding Liren and Alexenko Kirill, I think. So let's start. We will also e4, c5, now 3 knight c6, c4, knight f6, the two knights. Again, the fried liver is really tricky, and it often leads to a lot of chaos, but Alexenko just decided to play a closed game with d3, bishop c5, c3, d6, castles, h3, h6, rook e1, a5. And now we have this position where it's almost symmetrical, but black is trying to expand on the queen side. So b3, bishop b6, knight bd2, bishop to e6, and knight f1. In some positions, taking is not good for white because after f takes on e6, you open up black's rook. So, but the best move in this position is to take, but Ding Liren just reroutes the knight, which is perfectly fine. So d5, e takes d5, knight takes d5, queen c2, queen f6, knight d3, queen c6, and in this position, black is winning because of all these threats against white's king. So king h2 steps out of the way. Rook 88, bishop a3, fe8, knight takes c5, knight takes c5, rook takes c5, c6, bishop takes d5, and rook takes c5. And we got this trade where now it's a draw because the material are the same, and well, white does have a lot of pawns on the queen side, but they aren't advanced yet. So c4 attacking the bishop e6, rook e1, rook b8, bishop knight e4, bishop c7 check, king h1, queen h5, rook e3, queen e5, knight g3, queen a1 check, king h2, queen f6. And we eventually get a lot of shuffling in the trade. And Alexenko repeated the position twice, so it's still not a threefold repetition. a3, bishop b4, and Ding Liren baits Alexenko to take the pawn. Well, the second best move is to take the pawn, because after taking the pawn, rook b1 check, king h2, and queen to g5. And eventually black will sneak in and do some damage, but queen c2 just stops the whole plan. Instead, Alexenko didn't risk it and instead played queen e1, rook d8, queen d3, h5, bishop takes, and in this position, black is totally winning. Uh, I will show you the blunder that white made. Well, eventually bishop to c5 was the blunder. Oh, why is that? Well, if he played bishop to b2, defending like this, then white still has a +1 advantage. But why is bishop c5 so bad? Because all your pieces are just like paralyzed, and none of them can move. The knight can't move. Well, the bishop can't really go away on this diagonal because then black can just take. And the rook can't really go anywhere because it has to stay defending the knight. So bishop c5 is not a good move. Rook b8, bishop b4, rook takes, and queen takes. Well, for beginners, you think that that's bad because you only got 3 points for 5 points. But the idea is, although you could also take this, but queen takes c3 was better. Well, I did not find queen takes d3 somehow because this is the first time I'm analyzing this game. So now it's 3 queen f1 check, knight g1, bishop d4, and after some checks, I mean a lot of checks, Dingler won because Alexenko resigned, or because you just have to keep checking, like queen e2 check. But now queen e2 check is the only move that saves the day. So now, with queen takes, the best move is queen takes c2, and after knight takes c2, black has this very powerful bishop, which prevents white's king from getting into the play, and black can just take this pawn and promote this pawn. And also, Alexenko only had 58 seconds, while Dingleren has 27 minutes. That's maybe also also a reason why he resigned. So that's the end for today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.